In this time of the pandemic, where COVID-19 has crippled the world economies, where our government has ordered nationwide shutdown, where hospitals are overwhelmed.
Shortly after, the unthinkable happened.
I was literally stunned and frozen.
And their religious leaders are proven to be frauds. Where do you go to get all your questions answered and to hear what God has to say about this matter? You can only find the answers in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under Commanding General YAHANNA. We give you scriptural breakdowns of world events and the up and coming world war. We will show you in the Bible where the children of Israel, who are the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans today, would suffer slavery in Jamaica, Caribbean, North, Central, and South America, and other parts of the world. We will show you in the Bible where God said He would send plagues upon the earth before He frees people from this captivity.
The World Health Organization has declared coronavirus a global pandemic.
We will give you the true teaching of the Bible, precept upon precept. To learn more, subscribe today and call the number in the description for I.S.U.P.K. Jamaica. Shalom. Shalom, Hebrew. This is the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started at 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, and is run today by Commanding General YAHANNA, the man with the rank and the authority to be the leader of the nation at this time, the nation of the Black, Hispanics, and Native Indian at this time. I want to say Yahweh Basham, Yahweh Shai Barakatam to my brothers, Yahweh Shama Ailatan Basham, Yahweh Shai to my sisters. Welcome to our Sunday evening scripture breakdown. This evening we'll be looking at the judgment of the Most High. Now, as a people, referring to Black, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we have gone from the time of Moses until now. Hardship is what?
Yabashim
Shakata, bro. From the time of Moses till now, hardship is what Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians have been used to. And that hardship really come from our actions, but it is a reaction, all right. It's a reaction to our action. And it is a judgment from the Most High that is generally putting through this hardship. The hardship is just like when you were a child and you were given trouble and your parents whip you, or well, in America they put you to stand in a corner, and they never really work with Jamaicans still, I don't know why. They just whip you. So that's what the Most High do to the Most High. Don't put us to stand in no corner. He just whip us, cut our ass, and let us go. Now, over the number of years we have been getting our ass whipped by the Most High, our people seem to just have taken it as the norm. So because they have taken it as the norm, one of the famous things you hear they say is, out here, man have to live to make man dead. Sorry, man have to dead to make man live.
That's right, sir.
I wish my tongue slip at first. I wish that was what we were saying. Man have to live to make man dead. But anyways, the saying is, man have to dead to make man live, yeah, man. In other words, we are so overcome by death that we just accept it as, just one of those things.
God.
We accept it as it's like the air that we breathe.
God.
It's just the norm. But the scriptures tell us that these are punishments from the Most High. Now, from the time of, how far back now? Yeah, you can go as far back as when Adam was in the garden. The Most High have been punishing people. But we will begin at the time of Moses, because at the time of Moses, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, who are the Israelites of the Bible, went into an agreement with the Most High that was called the, what do you call it again? Covenant. We went into a covenant with the Most High. And this covenant was like, all right.
Gone, sir. Yeah, man. We have to change up the angle to that due to the signal. Select, yeah.
Okay, it look like you're standing.
God, we have to stand up right now. Select.
Oh, based on receiving proper Wi-Fi.
God.
All right, no sweat.
Gone, sir.
Yeah, man, you look like a militant standing.
To order, sir.
All right, so based on these things now, our people just accept sufferation as the norm, not knowing that we are laying on the bed of sufferation, not knowing that we could just bend our head down and look under the bed of sufferation and realize that down is up and up is actually down. So we need a little bit of sufferation. It's just to flip the bed, But the big question is, how do we flip that bed? And we are not ready to give up our idols.
God.
To make the change. And part of the thing, is the nation, the other nations that are among us. The Most High from the time of Moses did tell us that they were going to become thorns in our sides.
That's right, sir.
And can you believe that thorn in our sides have lasted until today? Can you believe that? Yeah, because from we went into the land and we start to, because remember the generation that went into the land, they never know anything about Egypt except for Caleb and Joshua.
God.
The majority of the people were like fresh people, knowing nothing about Egypt, knowing nothing of the gods of Egypt and things. It's when they went into the land, they start learning these things from the nations around them.
God.
You see the importance of old people. There was not really much old people to guide them, to tell them, no, don't do these things. But in the time of Joshua judged righteously.
God, that's right.
But after Joshua, this younger generation now say, boy, so rather than kill them people, we can tax them. And hence begin our sorrows.
God.
But roughly 3,500 years later, because it passed already, we can look back now and say, well, we learned something.
God.
Because our generation is able to look at the whole situation And bit by bit, we are developing a distaste towards sin.
God.
It's coming in bit by bit. But we're still not there fully. But the good thing is, the Most High has said that, you know, if we want to know his judgment. All right, let's find Psalm 147 and 19.
Got another one gone. Got another one gone, sir. This is Psalms chapter 147 and verse 9.
Number 19.
Salakia, sir. Verse 19. He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. Verse 20. He has not dealt so with any nation, and as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye the Lord.
All right. So Psalms 147, 147 has laid the foundation as to who the Most High has judged, who the Most High love. And it says that he has showed his word unto Jacob, his statutes, his judgment. Now, the part that we are dealing with is the judgment, because what is the judgment now? The judgment is all right. When you go to before a judge, or you go to court, I should say. Yeah, you go before a judge and you go to the courts. You are charged for something that is against the law of the land that you are in. Now, if you are found guilty, then that judge executes what is on the books as to the punishment for what you have done, and that is called a judgment. It's the same thing with the Most High, because that's what when you say our Father prayer, that's what you're praying for, you know. And you know, bit by bit it's coming down, because it first came down with us when we start to judge amongst our people when they break the laws. We execute the judgment. Now the statutes, that's the laws, and the judgment is the punishment for breaking those laws. So the Most High have his punishment that he execute, which he has given to us from the time of Moses, that we should execute when someone breaks the law that he has given us to live by. Now, he's saying here that none of these nations has ever been punished for breaking the laws. They have never been punished for breaking any laws or anything against him. He hath not dealt so, in verse 20, he hath not dealt so with any nation. Right? No, this is why the Bible is called the Holy Bible, because here you can read it and you can take it straight to the bank. You don't need to find other books to say you're searching for when the Most High has judged any other nation. That is why this is called Holy Scriptures, or separate scriptures, and it's righteous.
Right.
So when you read this now, you can, you know what you're saying. You take it as it is. So even when you see what is happening, the fighting that is happening in the Holy Land, and even outside of what is happening, that what happened the other day, because it's not new. That's not the first fighting down there since we were kicked out the land. Yeah, the Crusaders, you have this, you have that, and they were all fighting. And none of these fight that took place down there was ever the judgment from God. These were just other nations with their own gravelicious actions, thoughts, so to speak. Now, he said he has not done so with any nation, and he singled out the judgment. As for his judgments, they have not known them. So
God.
the other nations don't know what it is to be for the Most High to judge them, to judge
God.
or to execute punishment on them.
That's right, sir.
Which is why they can look on us and skin up their face and what you man go through your hard time.
Yeah.
You know, they see you going through your hard time and they can stay one side and laugh. Not knowing that what you are actually doing is paying for your sins at little by little.
God.
While they have never paid for them for theirs.
God.
Right? So over the years, the thousands of years, we have been paying for our sins bit by bit. You know, we go into captivity for 120 years, and 140 years, and 170 years in the Babylonian captivity. These times were us paying for the wrongs that we committed. These were times that we were being judged by the Most High, paying for the wrongs that we have committed.
That's right, sir.
Bit by bit. Now, it is telling you here that he has not dealt so with any other nation. So it means that the other nations, they have sins to pay for from creation.
God, you know what I mean? By now, them overdue, you know? So look here.
Well overdue. So,
God.
which is why when you read Revelation, the judgment from Christ seems so terrible.
God.
Terrible, terrible
Well
time.
deserved. God.
Well deserved on the other nation.
God.
All right. Take me to where it all began. Deuteronomy 28.
Another one gone, sir. I'm Slakia. Deuteronomy, how much? Slakia.
28.
Another one gone. I'm start at verse 1.
All right, hold on. Yeah, we're going to read 1. Yeah, 1 and all right. Yeah, read verse 1.
Another one gone. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
All right. So this is telling this after we sign that agreement now, the Most High say, all right, if you do what the laws says, you are going to be in charge of this earth.
God.
All right. So it's just like the courts again. If you do what the law says, what? Yeah, you won't be brought before the judge.
That's right.
Right? You won't be brought before the judge if you live a life in a way that, you know, even though we can't really set it with Esau's court, because trust me, the amount of innocent ones of our brothers who goes before the court and
God.
found guilty innocently. But even that, you know, even that happening, you know, the most I let you know that is really those who break his laws, he allowed to fall in those traps.
That's right.
Right? But
Which is
all right.
most of us. It's luck here.
All right. Think of a fair system. A system that is fair, right? If
God.
you don't break the laws, then you shouldn't go before the judge.
God.
So that is it right there. Just keep the laws, do what I say, and you will reign over the earth. All right,
That's right.
drop down to 15 now.
Another one can. This is Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
All these one?
All these curses.
All right, so you see these that we call the curses, these are what? The judgment.
God.
These are his judgment. And these judgment come about when sorry, we do not keep our end of the bargain.
That's right.
Right. And our Father which art is in heaven, thine will be done on earth as it is in heaven. This is why we are able to pick out the injustices in the criminal system. We are able to pick out in the judicial system, because we are supposed to be able to walk freely if we are not breaking the law.
God.
Right? But in Esau's court, the Most High has set up Esau as the one to judge us in these last days. So, you know, Esau has rained so many atrocities on us, which is not like the Most High tell him, say, you know, all the Most High did was to deliver us in his hands as punishment for us not keeping his laws.
God.
But, you know, the rest he's doing on his own.
God.
So, you know, yeah, man. But the Most High not saying anything. The Most High just watching.
God.
Because the Most High know that a time is going to come when he's going to require him to release us.
God.
And because he has seen the great economic benefit that he's gaining from us. He ain't gonna want to let us go.
God.
So that is going to force the Most High now to deal with him harshly. You ever see two people catch up, quarrel or fight,
God.
and the fight might start over somebody, one, you know, maybe accidentally bump into the other one.
God.
But when you stand and you listen to the words and the anger and the fighting, you realize that you hear one of them say, yes, man, at 10 years now you do so and so to me.
Yeah.
Or at 20, or you know, from when you do so and so to me, you think me forgot? That's the Most High. That's how the Most High is going to is judging Esau.
God.
They're going to tell him that, yeah, man, I remember you, you know, I remember how you treat me people when you weren't supposed to treat them that way.
God.
Right. So in the same way that when the Most High judge us and his anger and fury kick off, same thing will happen to you, man. Tell me to Judges 2, verse 1.
Another one can, sir. This is the book of Judges, chapter 2, verse 1. And an angel of the Lord came up from Gilgal to Bochim and said, I made you to go up out of Egypt, and have brought you unto the land which I swear unto your fathers. And I said, I will never break my covenant with you.
All
Verse
right.
2. So,
we're going 1, 2, 3. So this angel now, and if you notice, the Most High has never bring judgment upon us without he first send somebody to read. It's like in the same thing in the courthouse again, when you get in the judgment and the judge read out what really happened, then him execute him judgment. So he has always sent a messenger to say, you have done X and I'm going to punish you by doing Y. Read on.
Another one can, sir. Verse 2. And he shall make no league with the inhabitants of this land. He shall throw down their altars, but ye have not obeyed my voice. Why have you done this?
All right. So in other words, now the angel is saying, why we send you in there? So you have to throw down the altars and thing, and you don't do it. Why? Why you go do this? Because then we did not, we don't. All right. You and a brethren sit down and make an agreement, right?
God.
And then the brethren go out and supposed to do what you and him agreed on. But when he went out there, he put a little variation in it. And say, this is one other way how you could have do it, man. And you look and you say, boy, another way, they mean tell us still. But anyway, go on. That's the human side. God don't work so.
God.
When him say, keep left on this road until you reach Y point, that's what it means.
That's right.
Right. So we were supposed to go in the land, throw down these nations' altars and get rid of them. Now we went in there and we saw them as income. Or we can sit down and cock up a foot and collect some money off of them head.
God.
The most I don't work so. Because there is a lot of variation which we don't understand, and we as mortal man can't see 6 generations down the line. When these people who we have under taxation start to revolt, what do you do? You understand?
God.
But he knows that these things can happen, so he told us get rid of them. All right, you read 3.
Sir. Verse 3.
No.
Verse 3. Wherefore I also said, I will not drive them out from before you, but they shall be as thorns in your sides, and their gods shall be a snare unto you.
Now, that is, and what shall be a snare unto you?
And they shall be a Slakia, and their gods shall be a snare unto you.
Right, their gods.
God.
All right. This was from the time of Judges, And when you read through the Bible, come all the way down to when Christ came. This is what was executed on us.
God.
The gods, these false gods become as thorns unto us until this day.
Right.
All right, drop down to Judges 3, verse 7 to 9.
Another one can. This is the book of Judges, chapter 3, verse 7. And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord, and forgot Slakia, the Lord their God, and served Baalim and the groves.
All right. Continue.
Another one can. Verse 8. Therefore, the anger of the Lord was hot against them, Slakia, against Israel, and he sold them into the hand of Chushan Rishathaim, king of Mesopotamia. And the children of Israel served Cushan Rishathaim Rishamathaim 8 years.
All right, so you see what him do? Sold us into slavery.
God.
He sold us into slavery for what? 8 years. So
God.
that is his judgment coming up again. We're paying for some sins that we committed, and the punishment is 8 years.
God.
Right. So we got 8 years in punishment. The other nations still not pay for nothing yet, you know. Continue.
God another one can. Verse 9. And when the children of Israel cried unto the Lord raised up a deliverer to the children of Israel, who delivered them, even Othniel, the son of Kenaz, Caleb's younger brother.
All right. So he raised up Othniel as a judge over Israel, over his people at that time. Now, because we know that him always listen to us when we're in our distress. This is one of the reasons why we keep on going astray. It's like that child who you don't see until he's in some problem.
Yeah.
Whenever you see him coming through your gate, you can say, how what you do now? What kind of trouble you in now? You understand? That is Israel.
Gotcha.
That is us. All right, take me down to Judges 3.
Listen,
Chapter 3.
God another one can.
Sorry. Drop
Slack,
down
yeah, we
to,
were in chapter 3.
hold on. Drop down to 12.
Oh,
12 and 13.
okay. God another one can. So go straight down to 12.
Right.
Or jump to 12.
Jump down to verse 12 in chapter
Okay,
3.
gone. God another one can. Verse 12. And the children of Israel did evil again in the sight of the Lord. And the Lord strengthened Eglon, the king of Moab, against Israel, because they had done evil in the sight of the Lord.
All right, that is 13.
Salakia, that's 12. Verse
All right,
13. And he gathered unto him the children of Ammon and Amalek, and went and smite Israel and possessed the city of palms.
all right. So each time we disobey him and go after other gods, he gave us a little punishment.
God.
All right, drop down to Judges chapter 10, verse 6.
Got another one can. Got another one can. This is the book of Judges, chapter 10, verse 6. And the children of Israel did evil again in the sight of the Lord, and served Baalim and Ashtaroth, and the gods of Syria, and the gods of Sidon, and the gods of Moab, and the gods of the children of Ammon, and the gods of the Philistine, and forsook the Lord, and served not him.
Verse what then?
That's verse 6.
All right, 7.
Got another one cancer. And the anger of the Lord was hot against Israel, and he sold them into the hands of the Philistines, and into the hands of the children of Ammon.
All right. So there we go again.
God.
Experiencing the judgment of the Most High. Now,
Right.
if you notice, his way of punishing you is what?
Selling us into slavery, into captivity to the other
Captivity.
nation.
Captivity. Always sell us into captivity. That's punishment.
That's right.
All right. Drop down to verse 10 to 14.
Another one can. This is verse 10. And the children of Israel cried unto the Lord, saying, We have sinned against thee, both because we have forsaken our God and also served Baalim. Verse 11. And the Lord said unto the children of Israel, Did not I deliver you from the Egyptians, and from the Amorites, and from the children of Ammon, and from the Philistines? Verse 12. The Zidonians also, and the Amalekites, and the Moonites did oppress you. And he cried to me, and I delivered you out of their hands.
Right. Continue.
Another one gone. Verse 13. Yet ye have forsaken me, and served other gods. Wherefore I will deliver you no more.
All right. Continue.
Another one gone. Verse 14. Go and cry unto the gods which ye have chosen. Let them deliver you in the time of your tribulation.
Don't this sound like a parent and child?
Gone.
Yeah. The parent telling the child, come on, try and get in trouble and may get you out. And you're gone back to the same people who always get you in trouble. Tell you what you do. You go, don't come to me. Go cry to them. Go to them who always get you in trouble.
God.
Right. So this is Moses said, no, don't come to me. But you know, he still had mercy and gave us a prophet. That was what, 14?
Another one cancer.
All right. Now I want to notice a trend, you know.
Salakia, verse 14. Salakia.
You did read 14?
Yeah, gone, sir. Salakia.
Right. Go down to 1 Kings 11.
Another one gone.
King Solomon time again. And the time of King Solomon, we did commit some atrocities again.
God. Start at verse 1.
Yeah. Yeah, man, we're going 1 to 8.
1 to 18.
No, 8.
Another one gone. This is 1 Kings chapter 11, verse 1. But King Solomon loved many strange women, together with the daughters of Pharaoh, women of the Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, Zidonians, and Hittites.
All right. Continue.
Another one gone. Verse 2. Of the nations concerning which the Lord said unto the children of Israel, Ye shall not go into them, neither shall they come in unto you, for surely they will turn away your heart after their gods. Solomon clave unto these in love. Verse 3. And he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines, and his wives turned away his heart.
No, all right. So this is now where this is the problem. He had all the other wives when he were younger, you know. They weren't a problem, you know.
God.
Until read this verse again.
Another one gone. Verse 3. And he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines, and his wives turned away his heart.
All right. So that is the problem.
God.
And whenever the Most High is telling us not to marry other women of other nation, he always tell you because they will turn your heart away from me.
Gone.
All right, you see those remember that video with the Indians disposing of their gods, throwing away their gods
Gone.
in the river.
Gone.
Yes,
Over there in India. Gone.
yes, so they got them look pretty.
Yeah, them color them gods and you know what I mean, well decorated. You know what I
All
mean?
right.
All it ducks in the sea.
These were the things that caught our eyes.
Gone.
Now, in the earlier churches, when they used to have stained windows, they call them stained windows. It was an
Gone.
art that they use bits of glass of different color to create the image that they want to create, and then put it
Yeah.
right behind the pastor.
Gone.
All them stained windows, they were a beautiful thing to look on.
Yeah, man.
So these were one of the things that grab us in his church, the colorful gods.
Gone.
And
Slakia.
today it's no different.
Gone.
All right, continue with Solomon.
I'm Slakia just to say that, you know what I mean? The East Indian them realize say, you know what I mean? Them gods yeah, now save them from the COVID-19. Because all them a pray to them gods. You know what I mean? Them still a die. Them create the vaccine, Zane, to the point where we get the vaccine from them. And imagine COVID-19 still a demolish them over there, you see? So them get fed up and start dump them gods in the sea. Obviously them are no God. You see? So lucky yourself.
Yeah. Those well, they still have punishment to get, because they were one of our oppressors as well.
God.
Right. So I mean, good for them in that it can ease up the plague, but
God.
and see another plague. Another pandemic is declared in the world, and this one is India.
God.
They call it the black fungus.
Yes, God. Yeah, man.
Yeah, this one no is not China. This one is India.
God. Another filthy place.
Right.
God.
All right. Continue with Solomon.
Another one. God. Verse 4. For it came to pass when Solomon was old that his wives turned away his heart after other gods, and his heart was not perfect with the Lord his God, as was the heart of David his father.
All right. And if you remember when King Solomon started out, the Most High, his heart was perfect before God.
God.
But he loved box. That box always lead men astray.
God.
And he was no different.
God.
All right, continue.
Another one. God. Verse 5. For Solomon went after Ashtoreth, goddess of the Zidonians, and after Milcom, the abomination of the Ammonites.
You remember Ashtoreth at Easter?
God. Yeah, man.
Right. I don't remember what Milcom used to be about. But that was another god, which I'm sure they have find a way to put into Christianity as well. So they put Ashtoreth as Easter. All right, read on.
Another one. God. Verse 6. And Solomon did evil in the sight of the Lord, and went not fully after the Lord, as did David his father. Verse 7. Then did Solomon build an high place for Chemosh, the abomination of Moab,
right,
in the hill that is before Jerusalem, and for Molech, the abomination of the children of Ammon.
All right. So these women that he married did not forget. I mean, they leave their country and come into Jerusalem. They
God.
don't forget their gods. They come with their little shrine that they keep
God.
in their private chamber
God.
and just waiting on Solomon to get old
God.
so that they can manipulate him.
God.
Hmm. So that's what happened now with the woman, because him at certain when you reach certain age, you're looking to marry a younger woman. When you get old and can't move, that younger woman get more mature and start leading you.
God.
So this is why the most I tell you, marry the woman in your like people of your people. So
God.
when you reach this age now and them start lead you, at least they won't lead you away from God.
That's right.
Because that is the whole crux of the matter. That is what gets you punished.
God.
Gone into idolatry. All right. What
That's
verse
right.
you at now?
We're at verse 8, sir. Verse
Oh,
8.
yeah, read it.
And likewise did he for all his strange wives, which burn incense and sacrifice unto their gods.
All right. So this is now what the Most High doesn't like.
God.
So his two laws read two great things read Solomon and all marrying other wife, which we are commanded not to do. So
God.
even if you marry the other wife and let's say they don't lead you astray, even that is wrong
God.
because they are commanded not to do it.
That's right.
Right. So but compounded on that now, he has built other gods in the Holy Land for the because of his wives.
God.
Now you is the king, you are the leader, and you building other gods in the land. What you think is people going to do?
They are going to worship those gods that you set up.
Yeah, because you are the king, so
God.
they're going to follow what the king says.
God.
Yeah. So that is one other time again. And we know what we know what happened after King Solomon, the kingdom. The punishment was what?
The splitting of the kingdom. Slovakia.
All right. Where is that again? First Kings 11. All right. Drop down to verse 1 now. First Kings 8, 9. All right. 11, verse 11, where I'm saying I'm going to. All right. 11 and 12. No. Go down to 13.
God.
14.
Um,
Go down to 14. Sorry. 11, verse 11 to 14.
Slovakia, sir. You want to read peace I live where the most I lay out the judgment against him.
Yeah, we want 11, verse 11, going down, and 11,
Okay,
12,
gone,
13, 14. Right.
Okay, gone, sir. Another one, gone, verse 11. Wherefore the Lord said unto Solomon, for as much as this is done of thee, and thou hast not kept my covenant and my statutes, which I have commanded thee, I will surely rend the kingdom from thee, and will give it to thy servant.
Mm-hmm. So continue in reading out the judgment. This is now Solomon committing the act, and the Most High is now giving his judgment.
God.
Right. So
Another
continue
one,
reading the Most High's judgment.
another one, gone, sir. Verse 12. Notwithstanding, in thy days I will not do it, for David thy father's sake, but I will rend it out of the hand of thy son.
All right, so that was a judgment. And the most I
God,
remember that he made a promise to King David that he now will punish the nation under his son.
God,
So the son sinned. He said, all right, because I made a promise to your father, the judgment is going to come down on your son.
God.
All right, read on.
Another one cancer. Verse 13.
Mhm.
Howbeit, I will not rend away all the kingdom, but will give one tribe to the son to thy son for David my servant's sake, and for Jerusalem's sake, which I have chosen.
And which tribe was that? That one tribe that he gave to
The
Judah?
tribe of Judah.
Huh?
The tribe of Judah.
No, man, they were already Judah, Judahites,
Okay. You're speaking about Benjamin.
Benjamin.
Okay, gone.
Benjamin. They were already
Cancer.
Judahite. So I'm saying, and
Yeah,
if the Most had taken all the tribes away, then it would have just been Judahite living the land.
Judah. Okay,
But him
cancer.
said, I will give you one other tribe,
Gone,
which was
gone.
Benjamin. So
Gone,
that was how we were left back in the southern kingdom.
gone,
We Benjamites. The
gone.
Levites would have been there because they were over the temple.
That's right, sir. Gone.
Right. So the portion of Levites who had duties over the temple and over the cities that would have been, because each city have a priest.
Gone.
So the Levites who would have been over the cities of Benjamin and the cities of Judah and the temple. That is how Levi get to split,
Gone.
because they have duties in those areas. But there are some now because they were growing. So there are some which also have duties in the 10 tribe that was split.
Gone.
Right. The 9.5 that was taken away. The other tribes, there are Levites in those cities as well that have duties
Gone.
in those cities. So that's how Levi get to be split, or Levi get to split,
Okay, gone.
Some probably abandon them duty and come down because we know what happened after it split. The Northern Kingdom went straight to idolatry.
Gone.
So the Southern Kingdom remain as the Most High promised. But here we go again. Judgment from the Most High because of idolatry.
Gone.
All right, verse what now we're at?
We're at verse
13,
14.
14 now. All
Got
right.
another one done. Verse 14. And the Lord stirred up an adversary unto Solomon, Hadad, the Edomite. He was of the king's seed in Edom.
All right. So if you read further back in the Bible, you realize who Hadad was. Hadad was the one who escaped when King David smote Edom.
Okay.
Now they allow, because Hadad was I think as the king's son. They make him escape to Syria.
Gone.
And Syria now, so you see white man in Syria a long time,
Gone.
And Hadad now remember how we did his father, and him gain power in Syria, so him just come back at the
Gone.
time of Solomon. All right. And here it is, this story that it sit here in below, but we're not going into that. We're talking about the judgment. So this was now the Most I sent another nation to come against us. Hadad the Edomite, Hadad the white man. Um, Take me further down now take me to the book of Jeremiah.
Got another one cancer. Which chapter? Salakia.
Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 2.
Verse 2.
Yeah, 2 to 11.
Got another one can. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 2 and verse 2. Go and cry in the ears of Jerusalem, saying, Thus saith the Lord, I remember thee, the kindness of thy youth, Salakia, the love of thine espousals, when thou wentest after me in the wilderness, in a land that was not sown. Verse 3. Israel was holiness unto the Lord, and the first fruit of his increase. All that devoured him shall offend. Evil shall come upon them, saith the Lord.
All right, so this time now, this is the Most High is reminding Israel about this time when we were in the wilderness.
God.
And that generation that came up, which was pure to him.
God.
Real thing now, start keeping the laws and thing. And the Most I was proud of this generation. I said, like I said, oh, my brethren that, or I say, my son that, I hear his son say, oh, my daddy that, boy, I touch that, you go.
God.
Yeah, I'm not going to fly that tomorrow,
God.
The Most High is no different. The Most High said,
right.
all that touch my son, all that devour him. At that time, when we were pure, I go offend me, and evil shall come upon them.
That's right.
Oh, the writer just put it in a nice way, right? But the layman terms, the man say, "Oh, my daddy this, or my son this, look at my son." A boy thought, and he still not gonna say a boy touch this, but say, "Oh, a pea will touch this, Mara go fly, You understand? It's the same kind of thing.
Man.
We were so pure and doing what the Most High wanted us to do. Continue.
God. Another one cancer. Verse 4. Hear ye the word of the Lord, O house of Jacob, and all the families of the house of Israel. Verse 5. Thus saith the Lord, what iniquity have your fathers found in me, that they are gone far from me, and have walked after vanity, and are become vain.
All right. So here now he's saying, from that time, boy, they were walking so good with me. What them find wrong with me, what do the fathers find wrong with me that they have strayed so far from me? It's like a woman saying to her man, or a man saying to a woman, why you come take care of and thing? Me not have nobody else with you, If the man might say, no, him can have another wife, and he say, I don't even have a second wife with you. And look how far from me you stray. And what me do you? You understand? Same thing. The Most High is saying, what iniquity your fathers found in me make them stray gone so far from me, man? And what me do them? What have I done to them for them to do this? Continue.
Another one, verse 6. Neither said they, where is the Lord that brought us up out of the land of Egypt, that led us through the wilderness, through a land of desert and of pits, through a land of drought and of the shadow of death, through a land that no man passed through, and where no man dwelt.
All right. That is verse 1?
Yeah. That is verse 6.
Oh. Right. So the Most High say, what me do you make you become so vain?
God.
Right? Neither said they, where is the Lord that brought us out of the land of Egypt? You know, like this part now, they become vain and strange so far and straight so far that they say, hold on. What to fool God who bring us up out of, you know, a flashback?
God.
Like, you know, you get so caught up in fun and enjoyment. And then one time you have a flashback and say, hold on. But me did have so and so hope so. You know, that flashback. So the most I is saying, not even for them say, where is the Lord that brought us up out of the land of Egypt, that lead us through
God.
the wilderness, through the land of deserts, of pits, through the land of drought and of
God.
shadow of death. But you see, part of the thing, you know, all the scriptures that add these records was only really one place in the temple. You
That's
understand?
right, sir. God,
So
sir.
any memory of this now, you would have to actually go to the temple and listen to the scriptures being read.
God.
That was part of the problem. Now, the Most High has made it available through the Bible. Barakata Yahweh Yahweh Shai for that. Because the by having the Bible, the way we have it now. I mean, look how far we are from Jerusalem. What if it was only still Jerusalem we could get the scripture?
God.
You think you and I could be here sitting down preaching out against idolatry or anything like that? We would know the scripture,
God. So, lucky, I
right?
guess that's why it was important for us to teach it to our children. You know what I
Back
mean?
then, back then.
Yeah.
But
God.
when the Most High punish you and put you into captivity, you can't teach it to your children, you know,
That's right.
right? So that the captivity, the punishment, that was him showing you that he can cut you off fully.
God.
But we take it for joke until him finally cut us off for 400 years
God.
and give us Christianity or the strong delusion that's that delusion was so strong that it actually kept you in slavery
God.
because every slave wanted to be that good slave, you know. Because
That's right.
what happened to the bad slave? The bad slave getting ass whipped and get hung
Yep.
on tree.
God.
The slave
God.
that was hung and left on the tree, you know, that was the one that they point to them as the bad slave. The one that
God.
got the public whipping or the public hanging, those were the bad
God.
slave. So Christianity
God.
tell you that you must be the good slave, not
That's right.
knowing that, not knowing that you are still a slave, you are in punishment.
God.
And they tell you that your freedom will come when you die.
God.
Now Christian slavery gone, and we still believe those things, right? So the
God.
Most High is now reading out and say, why? Me go me and them man I used to par man. And what me do now? That's basically what he said, you know. All right,
God.
continue reading.
Got another one. God, sir. So, lucky.
All right, 7.
7.
Yeah.
Got another one. God. Verse 7. And I brought you into a plentiful country to eat the fruit thereof and the goodness thereof. But when ye entered, ye defiled my land and made my heritage an abomination. Verse 8. The
All right.
priest said, Slack,
So we are the heritage of the Most High, you know.
God.
So when we stray there, you say what? Um, I brought you into this country plentiful to eat the fruit thereof and the goodness thereof. But when you entered, you defile the land and make my
God.
heritage an abomination. So we became an abomination unto him.
God.
Mhm. Continue. And
God. Another
verse
one.
8.
God. Verse 8. The priest said, Slakia, the priest said not, where is the Lord? and they that handle the law knew me not. The pastors also transgress against me, and the prophets prophesy by Baal, and walk after things that do not profit.
So, is it the problem here now? Even if you go to the temple, you know, get the laws being read because not even the priest was seeking after him.
God.
Not even the prophets. It's like everybody just gone after Baal with the pretty because money, you know, money I run over there. So you understand? It's just like think of the pastor now, who you would go to and you say, you know that we are the people of the Bible, and he say, yeah, we know that. And you say to him, so why you don't teach it in the church? And him said, you are me dead for younger man. You understand? It's the same thing. They didn't want to touch it because what? Baal seem a little more profitable when it comes to money.
Yeah.
Because the people, what you were collecting, what under Baal, you know, you go and you do your sacrifice, but what comes next? When you in under our temple, you didn't have to bring money, you know. Under our system, you didn't have to bring money. You could bring the produce from your field to the priest, and him have to accept it. But under Baal, where them bring money.
God.
So the Baal priests them now start to wax rich, you know, because there's money coming.
That's right.
You know, bring things from your field, go and give them. You bring money.
God.
You bring things to sacrifice, yes. But you didn't have this whole heap of sacrifice. We have to sacrifice for this because something went wrong. You're going through a period of uncleanness, so you have to commit a sacrifice and all that. So these was the thing why them stick with Baal, you know. Because Baal, yeah, you sacrifice to Baal, but you don't have them whole heap of sacrifice that we have to do. And his money comes in.
God.
So it was always about the money. So we end up walking after Baal, Astoret, and all of them. Not knowing that under our system, what we were actually sowing was seeds for long life. Seeds for our children to come and actually rule over them same nation that we have Baal.
That's right, sir.
Right?
God.
So we reach a stage now where we live to see in our country now. They actually put out them gods and throw it in a river and things. I never know that we would have able to see, we would have seen something like that in our lifetime.
That's God, sir.
We never think about that, you know.
God.
But there it is. Right? And when we see it now, we start understand when the Most I mean by when him said, you should have thrown them idol and thing. The same way you see that that's what we should have do that, you know. But continue.
Another one cancer. Verse 8. The priest, Salakia, verse 9. Wherefore I will yet plead with you, saith the Lord, and with your children's children will I plead.
All right.
God.
Read that part again.
God another one gun. Verse 9. Wherefore I will yet plead with you, saith the Lord, and with your children's children will I plead.
All right. Now, how does the Most High plead?
Salakia, sir, when the Most High plead with you, I'ma go at war with you. I'ma destroy, I'ma punish.
Judgment.
God.
Judgment. Him send. You see how it come across now. Him say, you're in the church and you read that it don't look like or nothing more. Him say, yet will I plead with you. Because today a man a plead with a man where him come and say, I beg, we are begging you. So, brethren,
Like I
don't do
beg
this.
him. Yeah.
So, don't do that.
So, Salakia,
What's also going to happen? Yeah.
Salakia, sir. Christians could have, like you said, like what you just bring out, Christians could have read that and think the most I try beg them to stop them pork and beg them to
Yes,
stop.
man.
You know what I
Yes,
mean?
man.
All of the sinful thing them with them do.
Yeah. He said, no, stop that. Stop do this, no, man. One to you, man. Stop that,
God,
man. Blah, blah, blah. But no, that's not how the Most I feel. The Most I said a nation come mash up everything we have. Just so
God, slavery,
you know to find back your path and come back to him.
God,
That is him pleading
God,
with you. Just like how him
God, and
plan
one
to plead
God,
with the other nations. All
God.
right. Verse what that now?
We there at verse 10. Verse 10.
Jeremiah 2 and 10, right?
God, sir.
Yeah, man. Go on.
For pass over the isles of Chittim and see, and send unto Kedar, and consider diligently, and see if there be such a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Verse
Well,
11.
oh, 10. Okay, go on.
Yeah, 10, sir. Verse 11. As a nation change their gods, which are yet no gods. So look here.
Come again. Can a nation do what?
God another one gone. Hath a nation change their gods, which are yet no gods.
Well, you know what that is saying?
God,
Them people who have the idols, you know, realize from the time you come in the land, you know, they're not changing God, you know. It's the same God
God,
there. But you
God,
have changed your God so many times because you go after this one, you go after that one. That's why I say we have gone a war, you know.
God,
We've gone after all the other gods in the land. While those
God,
people stay true to their God.
God,
And those gods are no God.
God,
At a nation change their God, which are yet no gods. Continue.
God another one gone. So look here. But my people have changed their glory for that which does not profit.
All right. We have changed what we have, which is far better than their God, and gone
God,
to their God, which can profit us.
God,
All right. Drop down to 13.
God another one gone. Verse 13. For my people have committed two evils. They have forsaken me, the fountain of living water, and hewed them out cisterns, broken cisterns that can hold no water.
So, you know what's a cistern?
Like something like a vessel.
Right. That's something to
God,
contain water.
God,
So, He has given us fountain of living water.
God,
And we left that and go build cistern for ourselves, which are broken cistern which can't hold no water.
we can't hold no water. So two wrong that. So look here.
So,
Two mistake.
I mean, when you read this Bible and you see our people and things, I mean, how can you not believe that is really them people here nowadays the Bible is talking about?
God.
There is not another nation who stay like this, you know. Left with them
Wow.
out. Left from probably before slavery. The Hindu man is the Indian man, the East Indian him is still Hindu.
God.
The Chinese is still what you call them Buddhist.
Still Buddha.
The man in Tibet is where Tibet man them be? The monks. What you call them again? Buddha them talk about. Tibet
Yeah,
still have
yeah.
whole of a monk them and thing. Right?
God.
But we have been one.
We
Before
skip from God to God.
Before slavery, we were something else.
God.
We be Christian. Somehow we realize that Christianity is something wrong with it. And we hew out another broken cistern in the form of Rastafarianism.
God.
That's a broken cistern again, you know.
God, sir. Yeah, man.
Can't hold no water. But what? We can't see that. How much religion white people start?
Slacky, I don't think them start different from Christianity, you know. I don't think them start none.
Different from Christianity. Is it the Christianity that they have came, all right. You had Rome. Rome was divided, you know. I think East and West. Western Roman Empire and the Eastern Roman Empire. I think the Eastern Roman Empire, one of them had been the Byzantine Empire, because Rome took a lot of blacks back to Rome after 70 AD when they invaded Rome, Palestine, Jerusalem. They took a lot of blacks back to Rome as slaves. Now they came up, and it's not like now where in America, what is preventing the black people from really moving around and achieving, you know, is really the police and certain systematic, what they call systematic racism, right?
That's right.
But then it was different. So they rose up to the point where they were able to build the Eastern Roman Empire, what they call the Byzantine Empire. The Christianity that we have, that they have today, comes from the Byzantine Empire, comes from Byzantium. When Rome fell into the Dark Ages, Byzantine Empire didn't fall in. They were ruling Europe for over 1,000 years, for the period what them call the Dark Ages. And it was called Dark Ages because Rome was in Europe was being ruled by some dark people, dark color people, who were those farmer slaves, those farmer Israelites who they brought into Rome. Now,
that's right.
When they came up out of the bottomless pit, as Revelation said, they copy what the Byzantine Empire have. And then after the whitewashing of the pictures began, you know. It's Byzantine art that they whitewash. Then after they whitewash all these pictures now, they went and fought with Byzantine Empire and collapsed the Byzantine Empire.
God.
They have not built any religion on their own. Still copycat.
Okay, God. So not even Christianity them not built. So lucky.
Not even Christianity. You hear they talk about Santa Claus.
God.
Santa Claus really came from a man named what Santa Claus right name?
Saint Nicholas.
Saint Nicholas. Saint Nicholas was a Byzantine priest.
God.
Was a black man.
Yeah.
Right? Who did this kind acts. But even though they were Byzantine and they were black and they were Israelite, them still never did up on the right track, because they were celebrating Christmas and they were celebrating Easter. They were celebrating other gods just the same. Now it was the Byzantines who came in with, let me show you a picture with halo, the saints with the halo over them head.
Yeah, cancer.
And the Byzantine then come in with that, showing these prophets risen to the heights of the sun. So that is one. So that is idolatry.
God, that's the word, sir. Slakia.
And then the Western Roman Empire now, which rose up as and become just Rome rather than East and West, it became just Rome. They fought with the Byzantine and collapsed them and took over, brought us into slavery.
God.
And we are here what we are today. That was all the time of the Renaissance. We're talking about Renaissance. After them mash up the Byzantine Empire, then they had to, they themselves slip into a little darkness where them, you had kings who couldn't read, you have, most of them couldn't navigate the seas and so on. So they have to go back and learn from some of the Byzantine man them and learn about the arts, and so that's how the Renaissance came about, which is a rebirth of the arts and something another.
God.
So it all came from us just the same. So really and truly, they don't really make nothing from them own, you know.
God.
Esau is really just a copycat.
That's right. God.
But it's still idolatry. And idolatry always get us punished. All right.
God.
You finished 13, right?
Slovakia. Canada one cancer.
All right. Drop down to 33.
Canada one can. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 2, verse 33. Why trimmeth thou thy way to seek love?
Right. This is what we have done.
God.
From them. This is why we end up in other religion, you know. You know, they look on you and they say, why? Oh, yeah. We have to sacrifice so often, and so on and so forth. My God, you know, just one time we sacrifice, and that's it. And so and look at us. We are prosperous. And then we come and say, boy, you know, say, since we start following back at them people, we start make some money. Yeah, what? Cut out this, cut out that. This is how we trim our ways, you know.
God.
And stop follow God now and start follow them because we're seeking the love of these people.
God.
Today is no different. In a Trump, I don't know if a Trump or hour where they mean come down upon this white man and I beat him, and this black woman just throw himself over him.
Yeah.
Then there is this you remember the trial for the cop who went into the brother's apartment and shoot him, kill him.
God.
In her own apartment.
God.
And when she went on trial and thing, found guilty, the judge come down from the train, her seat, her judgment seat, and God, and show her Bible verse.
God.
Yeah, this is us seeking love, you know.
God,
Which tell me one other nation who has done this to another nation. None.
Yeah.
White man not do it for nobody. Nobody not doing it for the white man. Nobody not the Arabs not gonna do it for no other nation.
God.
With them Muslim beliefs. Right?
God.
But we are the only nation who seek to trim our ways because we want the other nation them to love with. So because of that now we don't get so harsh on our judgment when the Most High tell us that we should execute his judgment and our people, meaning that a man committed adultery, straight death.
God.
Right? A man worship other idols, straight death. But no, we trim our ways so that these nations can come among us for commerce, because King Solomon did what he did for commerce, you know, because when other nation come, a man who worship, it's just like no. What the homosexuals them say about Jamaica, the rich homos, what them say?
Them say Jamaica is homophobic.
And they're not coming to Jamaica to do business because we have laws that is not in sync with them and them belief and them ways. So we know how to do what now. We're going to change our laws and the books. So because we want them people that truly have money to love, we don't. And to come to Jamaica and invest 200 million US, invest 500 million US. This is us again trimming our ways to seek love.
That's right.
Right?
Gone.
Therefore,
Another one gone, sir. Salakia.
33.
Therefore, as thou also taught the wicked ones thy ways.
Right. So back in them days, because them learn everything about we now, they have the Bible. So back in those days, when we're seeking their love, so that they can come amongst us, they come amongst we. What? They don't come sit down and fold their hands. They come amongst us and learn our ways.
Gone.
And then turn around and find ways, find loopholes how they can oppress us.
God.
And
Prime examples. Salakia.
And how they do this is that then they come amongst us and learn what they learn. Wow. If we keep giving them this idol, we can control them because them God will punish them.
God.
Right? And they find ways to get us to sin.
God.
Right? They find them little, what we would call backstabbing or undermining ways.
God.
Right?
Yeah.
So we are supposed to sacrifice a goat, an animal without blemish. So they come amongst us. They have these animals. Probably one of them, them sell one goat with them know, so the foot they broke. We know that we are not supposed to sacrifice an animal who has had them kind of injury.
God.
They come now and learn it and say, say me get them to sacrifice a goat here. It will turn them God against them. So this is how we have taught the wicked ones. This is why I call them the wicked ones. These are the things they do. These little things to undermine you.
God.
Just like how it generally they brought out sometime, I think last year, with Burger King. What Burger King did to the black franchise Burger King owners. They gave them business in areas that they know that they would not succeed. Eh? So this is what make them the wicked ones. They come up front with you and they smile. And they give you something that on the face, it looks like they are giving you something good that can help you.
God.
But what is it? It is something that is going to mash you up 15 years from now.
That's right.
So the most I had to call them the wicked ones.
God.
Because what they are doing is just setting trap for you.
That's right.
They are not genuine. So I'm calling them the wicked ones. All right.
That's right, sir.
All right, drop me down to Isaiah now.
Another one gone.
Isaiah 51. Where's Isaiah? Isaiah chapter 51. Starting from 17. Isaiah 51. Starting from 17. All right, now, because if you notice what we have read from Judges coming down, we have it's us go seeking after other nations and them gods, gone into idolatry. This is the main sin of our people. Following other nations and then God. Right? So our people now have reached the stage, even until today, where it has become the norm. And now whether a generation is aware of it or not, that they are in idolatry, the punishment still applies.
God.
So the Most High keep punishing us. We find ourselves in this cycle of hell. And cannot explain it, so we take it as a norm.
God.
Because of us into idolatry. We keep on feeling the judgment of the Most High. Right?
That's
so
right.
one of the ways that he has used to judge us is to keep us into punish each generation. I'm saying we'll visit the sin of the third and fourth and the sin of the parents and the third and fourth generation. So this is how we do it. Him keep us in poverty, generation after generation. So much so that we come up and say, oh, fight them up fight against poor people. We come up can love being poor, basically. Right? Love being poor in a sense where, yeah, you want money, yes, but we feel say, yeah, if you notice a lot of people who come out of poverty, they turn around and push against other people that is in poverty. Because they have accepted poverty as a part of us. Right?
God.
But the Most High have his plans. Read 17.
Another one gone. Verse 17. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 51, verse 17. Awake, awake, stand up, O Jerusalem, which has drunk at the hand of the Lord the cup of his fury. Thou hast drunken the dregs of the cup of trembling and wrung them out.
Now, what is it? The cup of the hand of the Lord, the cup of his fury. This is his judgment. This is because he's vexed, he execute judgment on us. Right?
God.
And we have taken the Deuteronomy 28, set the course for what he would do for us. Give us two, show you two road. You take this one, good things happen. You take this one, bad things happen. But bad things keep on happening. And the bad things, that's the fury of the Lord, the judgment of the Lord. Now we get so in love with the with the Most High judgment, and we just take it as a norm.
God.
But the Most High here is telling you, wake up, man. Just like where we go and camp and tell our people, right? We might not say it's so poetic. Awake, awake, stand up, O Jerusalem. We might not be so poetic, but we say to our people, why come out of your darkness, realize who you are, realize what you have to do. Stop listening to them other people.
God.
They are just telling you what they're telling you because they want to keep you in the condition that you are in. Where's the proof? Today have the police murdering you. Them banks don't give rat's ass about you. Them businesses who sell a franchise want to destroy you. They're not interested in you in sports unless you can make them a couple millions, right?
God.
So we know has taken all this. But the Most High is telling us from the time of Isaiah that we should wake up. We who have drunk at the hand of the Lord the cup of his fury. And imagine you ever drink something out of a cup, it's so nice, all when it's done, you just shake it up.
God.
Yeah, man. That is we taking out the dregs of the cup of trembling. And not only shake, then shake, what we do, we wring it out.
God.
No, we can't wring a cup. So, but the scriptures now is showing the extent at which we have drained the dregs and hold the cup and wring it. And you can't wring a cup,
God.
But it's showing the extent how we love the punishment.
God.
Yeah, man. That's us. All right. 18.
Another one gone. Verse 18. There is none to guide her among all the sons whom she has brought forth, neither is there any that taketh her by the hand of all the sons that she has brought up.
Right. All the sons that there is none to guide her among all the sons that she has brought forth. 12 picnic, 12 tribe. Neither
God.
there is any that taketh her by the hand of all the sons that she had brought up. So not one of the tribe could stand back and say, come, this is the way. Not even Judah
God.
could hold the hand and say, come, this is the way. You understand?
God.
All right, 18.
Verse 19, Salakia.
Oh, that was 18. Salakin.
God.
19.
Verse 19. These two things are come unto thee. Who shall be sorry for thee? Desolation and destruction and the famine and the sword. By whom shall I comfort thee?
No, these are the desolation. That is what. We are
Say that
desolate.
again, Salakia.
Desolation.
God.
We have become a desolate people, meaning that what? We're not together, you know.
God.
No leader.
God.
Destruction has taken us. Well, we know that what we understand that one. Mash it up. We are destroyed.
God.
We are hungry, and they still kill us.
God.
Right? By whom shall I comfort thee? So, how am I going to comfort you now? Everything mash up, everything gone. So by the time from Moses come down to time of Isaiah, why society reach a stage where it just basically gone.
God.
Verse 20.
Another one gone. Verse 20. Thy sons have fainted. They lie at the head of all the streets as a wild bull in a net. They are full of the fury of the Lord, the rebuke of thy God.
Right. No, it's your son has fainted and lie at the head of the street. This is what? This is the man who you call the street man, you know, the road man.
God.
We love roadside, you know.
God.
But it's a you're like a wild bull in a net, because when the police want to attack people and kill, who normally get attacked first? The man at the roadside.
God.
And back in the days under the Persian Empire, and so when they used to kill our people in the marketplace and wherever, the man at the roadside, these things happen too, right?
God.
So in other words, our sons have become boy, I don't want to say useless, you know, and I don't want to say worthless, but we have become ones with no responsibility to the Lord, to the Most High.
God.
No responsibility to our nation, to our people. It's like we're just on the street side looking out for something to come our way that we can just make our money today.
God.
I understand.
God.
But it's the judgment of the Most High that caused all this. We are full of the fury of the Lord, the rebuke of thy God. All right, that's our 20.
Another one gone.
All right. All right. So this is now the Most High telling us to, make a change now, make a switch, turn around, so that him can
God.
start working for us. Jeremiah 30 and 20.
Another one gone. Another one gone. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 30. Slakia. 31 and 20, right?
Verse 30, chapter 30, verse 20.
Okay, gone, sir. Chapter 20, verse 30. Slakia, chapter 30, verse 20. Their children also shall be as aforetime, and their congregation shall be established before me, and I will punish all that oppress them.
So restoration is promised, right?
God.
So the Most High see we gone and him curse we out and vexation and the thing is, you know, because he has said certain things, it has to come to pass.
God.
We wouldn't have gone through all the hardship we've gone through, but we get the Most High so vexed that him say some things that he himself regrets that him said. But because him said it have happened.
God.
But what he's promised here now is restoration. This is the Most High speaking good in us.
God.
If you ever hear them talk about affirmation, speak positive affirmation to yourself. And tell yourself every day that I am gloriously and wonderfully made by you understand?
God.
But this is holy affirmation the Most High is giving us. The Most High is saying, their children also shall be as aforetime, means that we shall be as good as when we first went into the land and we were holy. And our congregation, which is the general population, shall be established before him again, and he will punish all that oppress them. Now, because him said he will punish all that oppress us, it have to happen too. So this is judgment going on the other nations.
That's right.
And which nation has not oppressed us?
They all have. Salakia.
All right. So he has promised to punish all that has oppressed us. And they have not met out any punishment from thousands of years.
God.
So because he said that now, you know, say, punishment for them other nation must be coming for real. All right?
God.
So book of Amos. All right, that was this what we read a while ago. That was on Jeremiah.
Jeremiah 31 and 20. Slakia 30 and 20.
All right, Isaiah. Because you are Isaiah 51. Book of
God.
Isaiah. One.
It's a 51 and how much?
Hold on. Oh, Isaiah 51 and 22 to 23.
Another one. Gun. This is Isaiah chapter 51, verse 22. Thus saith the Lord and thy God, that pleaded the cause of his people. Behold,
all right. And always said the Most I plead
by going to war, and I mean to punish.
All right, continue.
Another one. Gun. Behold, I have taken out of thine hand the cup of trembling, even the dregs of the cup of my fury. Thou shalt no more drink it again.
All right. So this is the Most I now promise us to remove his judgment from us, which is to send us into slavery and hard time and hardship and eternal poverty. Right?
God.
But when him take it from we now, him will do something with it. Read 23.
Another one gone. Verse 23. But I will put it into the hand of them that afflict thee, which have
Right.
said. So
Just like what we read, that he will punish those that what? That afflict us.
gone.
Right. Continue.
Another one gone. Which have said to thy soul, bow down, that we may go over. And thou hast laid thy body as the ground, and as the street to them that went over.
All right. So he is going to put that in the hands of the other nation that afflicted us, that have said to us, that have spoken to our soul, not just in our ears, They have spoken to our soul through them idolatry.
God.
Right? Bow down. It tell us be humble. It tell you that God love everybody. It tell you that how Christianity put it again. God love everybody. What else? Out of many one people.
God.
So this is them speaking to your soul so that they can get to use you.
That's right.
And thou hast laid thy body as the ground and as the street to them that went over. So we are they done all that they did on our backs. All their wealth, everything. Big rich America on the backs of the Israelites, Judah in particular. What else? They have, in the time of segregation, when they used to put up the signs, no blacks allowed, and so on and so forth, we were doing far better economically than now.
God.
Until they smartly saw it and say, come up with a plan to integrate. Because in sports, one of the top sports was baseball. Right? You had,
God.
it was two major leagues you used to have, You have the major league that you have now, which is, that was a white only major league. And then you have the black major league. Now, because we are better than them in sports, what used to happen? The black major league draw the crowd. The black basketball players draw the crowd. Right? People were swinging, even their own people, were swinging to the blacks because the blacks outshine them in so many things. Right? Businesses. We had our own airport, we had our own banks, we had our own things. And they were doing good. Even at the time when America was going through its depression in the 30s, black businesses were doing good. The whole model of Wall Street came from us. As a matter of fact, the whole what they call it, fiat currency come from us. They went in America and then learned fiat currency from the Indians. The Indians were trading with beads. Their monetary currency was beads. Right? And they studied that and said, oh, this thing works. Because money is whatever the general population decide that is money. Right? So they learned that these beads had power because the rulers gave it power.
That's right.
You didn't have gold, you didn't have to have gold to back it.
God.
So they study and learn that from the Indians, kill out the Indians, and then started to print monies that were not backed by gold. America start them things there.
God.
Right? And them bankers who learn it in America, they take it other places in the world. But we were the ones who start them things. They were trading with beads. God. So that's another way them lay our body on the ground because trust me, a whole heap of Indians them kill out after them buying Manhattan from them.
God.
Right? And they went over on our backs. Every nation who goes into America want to set up in the black communities because money is spent there. Right? Not that we are spendthrifts,
God.
but we have to buy everything we want. We actually don't
That's
make
right.
anything. So we became, sorry, we became good consumers. Right. But the most I say now, because of all this, he's putting his judgment into the hands of those that afflict us. All right. We got through Amos already. We did Amos.
Last, sir, we not go through Amos.
All right. What was it? Amos. All right. Amos chapter 3. All right. Yeah, we should have read it. Amos chapter 3 and 2.
Another one gone. This is the book of Amos, chapter 3, verse 2. You only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquities.
So this is why the Most High punish us. That is why we are the only ones who know his judgment.
That's right.
Right? Until
God.
this day. Because the other nations don't start feel their judgment, his judgment yet, you know.
God.
The other nation have not feel his judgment yet. But
God.
the table is about to turn. Go to Joel chapter 3.
Another one gone.
Chapter 3 and 2.
Another one gone, sir. Another one gone. This is the book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 2. I will also gather all nations, Slakia nations, and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land.
All right, so this whenever the Most High start, when you see it pushing closer and closer to the Third World War, it's pushing closer and closer to the time when the Most High, the other nations is going to experience our little taste of what we always getting.
Yeah.
Except that their taste that they are going to get, hey, when you grow, your parents used to your parents used to beat you.
God.
All right. You ever get some beating? Your parents ever beat you? You do something now, and then grab you. Your mother grab you
God.
and start beat you. And then when they say like my cool long after when I beat you for now, when say you remember so and so time you do so and so,
God.
and then you get a beating again, and then you remember so and so, you end up sometimes getting 3-4 beating in a one.
God. Yeah, man.
This is what is going to happen to the other nations now when they bring them in Jehoshaphat and start pleading with them. Read verse 1.
Another one gone. This is the book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 1. For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem.
All right. So what am I going to do right this now? When him start bust their ass now, them are going to remember what they do to Judah and Jerusalem.
God.
So in other words, just like our parents used to give us some retroactive beating, they must have some retroactive beating for the other nations.
That's right.
Same thing. get some beating in retractiveness.
God.
You're getting some beating now for something you did. But because he's God, he remember 1,000 years and 2,000 years ago and 3,000 years ago what you did.
That's right.
So that is why they are going into captivity. I understand.
That's right, sir. God.
All right. Give me Jeremiah 25 and 12.
And 12.
Yeah, Jeremiah 25, verse 12.
Another one gone, sir. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 25, verse 12. And it shall come to pass, when 70 years are accomplished, that I will punish the king of Babylon and that nation, saith the Lord, for their iniquity, and the land of the Chaldeans, and will make it perpetual desolations.
Now, if you remember the story with Babylon,
God.
how was Babylon overthrown?
The Medes and the Persians.
Thank you. And there wasn't even no world for fighting. So guess what?
God.
This have not happened yet.
That's right.
It have not happened yet.
Right. God.
So from the time of Jeremiah, the Most High has been speaking against Babylon.
God.
Right? All right. Take me down now to Revelation 18, 3 and 6.
Another one gone. Another one gone, sir. This is the book of Revelations, chapter 18, verse 3. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies.
All right. So in Joel now, Most I say, remember the captivity of Judah when they bring them down there.
God.
Now, Babylon is the one who is going to pay dearly for our oppression, you know.
God.
For all nations have benefited from where? From America. We know that America is the daughter of Babylon, right? So
God.
Babylon have rebirth from the time of Jeremiah. If you had read the Bible in between when Babylon fell, then up to America, if you already read the Bible anytime in between that, you would have said that the Most High write some things when it happen.
God.
But you don't know that the Most High plan that Babylon would re-emerge in the last days to come and be the super power that they are. So that him can get to bust them, him can get to give them some retractive beating.
God.
Right? So it make all nations come and feed from America. America is the big consumer that everybody wants. If you have a product, you know, right now here in Jamaica, and you get a market in America, you know, man, you stay good, you know.
God.
As long as you can manufacture and get the product in, right?
God.
You will get sale. Worse if it is something that they love.
God.
All right. Drop down to verse 6.
Another one gone, sir. Verse 6. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her, double according to her works, in the cup which she has filled to her double.
All right. So the Most High, that is why they are getting double punishment.
God.
You know, America. But you know, in back, well, even though when a man have a certain fury in him, you know, him look for a man who he can beat up, you know,
God.
and bust him ass properly. But you know how the Most High take revenge. Him look for the strongest man.
God.
Babylon is the strongest man right now, you know.
That's right.
And when him bust him ass, you know, Everybody have to quack because it's a strong man get him ass whipped.
God.
Right? So the Most High don't fight war like how we fight it. Him don't look for no weakling. Like how Israel and Hamas. And I beat up them chest. But we have set Hamas back years. And
Well, let me fight sticks and
when
stones.
use a big superpower down there. Hamas is what? If this war was to perpetuate anymore, and if you notice, from back in the days, it's be skirmish. Each time they stop, Hamas get a little more powerful. But and that's how we know. Say when it's time for World War III, it's gonna happen so fast because in just 11 days, them fly all up a warplane and really mash up Hamas.
God.
Right? So so when that time come that the Most High is going to call the nations down there, it's going to happen fast, because Hamas can't take no pounding. No nation can raise up over there so on the side of the Palestinian who can take any pounding from Israel. The only way that probably can happen is if Israel come in on the ground. Israel learned from 2014. So it's best if you don't go in on the ground, because Hamas bad on the ground in there. The only other way this can happen now is if the Palestinians find a loophole into Israel and then just arm a whole heap of a man and just send them in Israel. Meanwhile, them a fire rocket in there, then just send them the man there in Israel. And then America now we're gonna have to come down there and defend them. Right? But something is going to happen. Probably it's Hamas who is going to find a way to overpower them. Probably to get down the Iron Dome or something. But it's gonna be such that they overpower Israel, that America have to come down there to defend them.
God.
Or Hamas get so much beaten that Russia and Iran come in and say, no man, you beat up the man too much.
God.
And when them two nations they jump in, well, say Iran are gonna jump in before Russia. Iran jump in now. And then America jump in and start back Israel. And then Russia said, no, we have to go back. I have to go back Iran. God. Right? And we know, say, no, all right. Anytime we see that happen, we say, yes.
Chain reaction.
You can start pack your bag.
God.
Because chances are you ain't going to have no more ceasefire then. God. Right?
I'm still lucky, sir. Still lucky. And notice how the general bring out last night. The violence now spill over in America. You know what I mean? So
yes. Them attack, some simple attack that, and them attack the Jewish man in America. That's unheard of. They used to attack cemeteries. But no, them take it to them face.
That's right.
All right. Now, the Most High have used other nations to carry out his judgment on us. And there are times when him use us. Well, he has never judged them other nations, so they don't know his judgment. But he use we most time to fight for freedom. Now this time, who is going to fight for the freedom of Israel? We know that it is YAHANNA, right?
That's right.
He's coming back to fight for Israel. That sounds like one little fairy tale or something, movie still, But think of us taking up arms against this big bad power. As a matter of fact, think of us here in Jamaica taking up arms against the Jamaica Defense Force.
Which is no force.
Which is no force. Remember that bus we asked? Right?
Yeah, that's true.
So think of us doing all them things there. And we know that freedom is coming. So how is it going to come? The Most High is going to let the nations bust them each other ass, and then what happened after that? Drop me in Revelation 19 and 13.
Another one turn. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 19 and 13. And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of God.
All right, so this is Christ now, you know. How is vesture get to dipped in blood, to be dipped in blood? Now, Christian don't believe saying just take it off and dip it in the blood and put on it and show us, oh, vex. Nah, his vesture is going to be dipped in blood to the amount of killing that he will be doing.
That's right, sir.
That blood dripping off him garment.
That's right.
And his name is called the Word of God. That is what we are preaching now. Right?
Another one can.
We are preaching the Word of God, and Christ is to come, and so on and so forth. So that is why his name has to be called the Word of God, because he is the man who we have been speaking about. He is the man who majority of the Bible is centered around, you know.
God.
Right? So this is the man that shall return. God. All right. One more thing before we move on. Ezekiel 36.
Another one can, sir. Um, 36 hours, sir.
Ezekiel 36 and 26.
And 20 much?
6.
Another one can. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 36 and 26. A new heart also will I give you, and a new spirit will I put within you, and I will take away the stony heart out of your flesh, and I will give you an heart of flesh.
All right. So this is the Most High removing his judgment. All right. He removing his anger, his fury from us and put it onto the other nation. All right. That's verse 1.
That's verse 26.
26. All right. Read 27.
Another one can. This is verse 27. And I will put my spirit within you and cause you to walk in my statutes, and ye shall keep my judgments and do them.
All right. So because the Most High has spoken it, we say what?
That's to happen.
It's going to happen.
God.
Now, because the Most High has spoken it, it has to happen. So the Most High is giving us like some affirmation, but this is holy, this is divine, and this is faithful and true. This is not the kind of affirmation that they're going to tell you, which you're going to repeat, which is not going to happen, because the curses and so of the Most High Bible take precedence over that, right? So you could have affirmed the more the Most High, if the Most High love you and then decide to more chastise you, you're going to chastise you, right? But here he's speaking now for the entire nation. He's saying that he's going to do what?
Put a new slack, and I will put my spirit within you and cause you to walk in my statutes, and ye shall keep my judgments and do them.
So we know that we just don't have a heart.
God.
We just don't have a heart to serve the Most High. Why? Why we tired of the beating? So here the people them now say, why? You know, we love God, you know. And you say, all right, you love God. But him say, if you stop eat pork,
God.
why, you know? No, him say rice kill and eat Peter. So we don't really have a heart to love God. What are we in love with? Our personal desires.
That's right.
We are so in love with our personal desires. But he says he's going to remove that heart and give us a heart of flesh that we might love him. Now you see when that happens, the judgment shall come down on the other nations seriously. All right, Isaiah 14 and 2.
Another one gone. Another one gone. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 14 and 2. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids. And they shall take them captives, which captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors.
Right. So when the Mosiah was putting his judgment on us, he put us into captivity. So
God.
now that he's going to turn the captivity of turn our captivity and put his judgment on them other nation, it means that them other nation going into captivity. And it is right there in the scriptures. And it is going to happen. And there is nothing they can do about it. Right? Because after the third world war, when they mash up themselves and the Most High rescue we and put we in the land, it says they shall cleave to us.
God.
Right? Right. So, question?
Yeah, sir. No question.
All right. With that, we pass the class over to priest and officer, or should I say officer and priest in training.
Law, officer
Right?
and priest, sir. So lock you.
Is it in training? You're still in training, believe me. All right. The priest and officer, another one.
Another one can. Clap it up. All right, so these are the I.S.U.P.K security announcement. We are the I.S.U.P.K out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General YAHANNA. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or a sister comes into the school, they are off limit for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. After 6 months, if a brother or a sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to marry. Slakia. There is an Slakia. To speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Slakia. There is another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6 months period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find this in Numbers 18 and 21 and Malachi 3, 8 and 10. Means tenth in the Hebrew and is pronounced ma'ashara. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Give to the Treasury Department or teacher. Priest funds. Free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like to give. Upcoming holy convocation. Select. We're in the feast of first fruits right now currently. It is celebrated on the 50th day. The 50th day after the feast of unleavened bread. Select. Sir, you have the updated sheet, right?
The last one, the one that I sent to you, is it you're reading from?
Canada one cancer.
You sure?
Cancer. It says Saturday, April 7, 2018.
Come on. All right. Just read what this script. Just read the scripture part where it can be found. We'll start that up.
Yeah, man. All right. Okay. The scripture is not in it. So okay, sir.
You can pull up your messenger, Facebook Messenger. It's supposed to be in your Facebook Messenger.
Okay. Or you send it to the Facebook Messenger?
Yeah, I got it in Messenger, and I think I sent it to you in Messenger. It probably was emailed to, but check Messenger.
Yeah, this was the one from the email. So okay, sir.
You can't find it? All right, we deal with it by next
Cancer.
class.
Find it.
All right, waiting.
All right, this one, the Feast of First Fruits starts after the Sabbath. Unleavened bread, or the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Sundown, Sunday, May 2nd, 2021. Count 50 days. Celebrate the 50th day. Salakia. Monday, June the 21st, 2021. Starts before sundown. You can find this in Leviticus 23, verse 10 to 22.
Okay.
All right. Reminding Akiam and Aquatium to check on social media such as ISUPK.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for I.S.U.P.K events and material. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, then he is to start wearing all black, which includes black boot, shirt, pants, headband, or scarf. All right, so we're going to say the prayers.
Lord prayer. Let's go to the Lord prayer.
Lord prayer. All right. Men of Israel, Amarjum, Sar, which means turn and face the east. We're going to say the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew and then in English. Abanawa.
Abanawa.
Shabashamayam.
Shabashamayam.
Kwadash.
Kwadash.
Aya.
Aya.
Shamka.
Shamka.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Malakwatka.
Malakwatka.
Tabaha.
Tabaha.
Ratazaika.
Ratazaika.
Aya.
Aya.
Aisha.
Aisha.
Barataza.
Barataza.
Kawa.
Kawa.
Aya.
Aya.
Bashamayam.
Bashamayam.
Nathan.
Nathan.
Lanawa.
Lanawa.
Lakam.
Lakam.
Yawam.
Yawam.
Wasalak Lanawa.
Wasalak Lanawa.
Kawabwat Nawa.
Kawabwat Nawa.
Kasalak Nawa.
Kasalak Nawa.
Kabwabwat Yanawa.
Kawabwat Yanawa.
Walaha.
Walaha.
Tabaaya Nawa.
Tabaya Nawa.
Banasayawan.
Banasayawan.
Abal.
Abal.
Awashai Nawa.
Awashai Nawa.
Rai.
Rai.
Kaya.
Kaya.
Laka.
Laka.
Amalakwat.
Amalakwat.
Wa'ala.
Wa'ala.
Wataparat.
Wataparat.
La Iwalamyam.
La Iwalamyam.
Amen.
Amen. In English, Our Father which art in heaven,
Our Father which art in heaven,
hallowed be thy name.
hallowed be thy name.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven.
Thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven.
Give us this day our daily bread,
Give us this day our daily bread,
and forgive us our debts,
and forgive us our debts,
as we forgive our debtors.
as we forgive our debtors.
And lead us not into temptation,
And lead us not into temptation,
but deliver us from evil.
but deliver us from evil.
For thine is the kingdom,
For thine is the kingdom,
and the power,
and the power,
and the glory,
and the glory,
forever.
forever.
So be it. Amen.
So be it. Sir, we're going to say one courtesy salute to the teacher, men of Israel, Amajum Shabbat, Amajum, Barak, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai Barakatah,
Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai Barakatam.
Yaramatar. Turn and face the sister, our sisters. Men of Israel, we're going to say one courtesy salute to the sisters. Amajum Shabbat, Amajum, Barak, Yahweh Shamar Alatan Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai.
Shai.
Yaramata, class dismiss.
All right, there's Captain now.
Good class, sir.
Order. Most High in Christ. All right, I want to get back in touch with the Cap. In this time of the pandemic, where COVID-19 has crippled the world economies, where our government has ordered nationwide shutdown, where hospitals are overwhelmed.
Shortly after, the unthinkable happened.
I was literally stunned and frozen.
And their religious leaders are proven to be frauds. Where do you go to get all your questions answered and to hear what God has to say about this matter? You can only find the answers in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under Commanding General YAHANNA. We give you scriptural breakdowns of world events and the up and coming world war. We will show you in the Bible where the children of Israel were the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans today would suffer slavery in Jamaica, Caribbean, North, Central, and South America, and other parts of the world. We will show you in the Bible where God said he would send plagues upon the earth before he frees people from this captivity.
The World Health Organization has declared coronavirus a global pandemic.
We will give you the true teaching of the Bible, precept upon precept. To learn more, subscribe today and call the number in the description for I.S.U.P.K Jamaica. Shalom.